Hi, my name is Melanie, and this is my story. Almost 8 years ago, I was laying in bed and I was dying. My life was passing without me even knowing what was going on. I was in a fog and didn't know if I was coming or going, and I had 4 kids at home that I was trying to care for. There were days that I would spend laying on the couch. Hours would pass and I didn't know that the time was moving. There were times when I hurt so bad that my oldest boy, who at the time was only 8, would have to get up and make peanut butter sandwiches for the whole family because they were hungry and needed to be fed. But I was in such bad shape that I didn't know that they needed cared for or what to do for them. I found out that I was gluten intolerant and changed my diet and found a huge amount of relief. I gained part of my life back and had clarity again. I did everything I could on my own. I researched and researched and researched. I did the best I could with my diet. I worked to exercise when I could, but I was still hurting and still in pain. I was eventually diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and the doctor who diagnosed me said, "You have fibromyalgia right now, but we're going to test you every 3 months because in 6 months you'll have lupus and you're going to die of MS." So I was given no hope at all. I was told, "You can take these drugs and it will help you to deal with the symptoms, but you have a long, miserable road to death ahead of you." Again, something rose up inside of me and I said, there has to be more. I can't die like this. I can't live like this. And so I continued on this path of exploring everything I could holistically. I did essential oils. I bought the best organic foods. I only bought meat from the farmer's market or directly from the farmer. I did everything within my power, but again, I plateaued. And in fact, the stress of a move and my husband feeling stress and the things that were going on at home with trying to raise 5 children and homeschool them was more than my body could handle. And so not only did I plateau, but I started to decline. And that's when I felt like, okay, here's the MS part, because my hips locked up, my joints seized up, and I couldn't walk anymore. I am not even 40 years old, and I couldn't walk down the street. I couldn't go out and take my babies for a ride in the park. I was an advocate for healthy eating and everything that it could afford you and all that it had given me back because I had gained so much health. But there was still so many things that felt like they were declining and felt like I was losing ground. And the fear of that MS that the doctor told me that was coming was always looming in the back of my mind. And as I continued to lose function, I knew that's the path that I was heading down despite all of the hard work that I'd put in. We were growing our own food at this point so that we could have complete control over everything that I was putting into my body, because I felt like if I just keep doing this and if I just keep pushing and I get it right, then I'm going to start to get better. That's when I came in with my husband to Next Level Health Center. He had an injury and I said, I need to find somebody who's holistic minded, somebody who treats the entire body and not just part of it. When I came into Next Level Health Center, I found a totally different atmosphere than anywhere I had been before. And while I was just coming in as a support person, Dr. Hammond kept saying, when you're a patient, we'll do this with you. When you're a patient, then we're going to do this with you. And I just kind of laughed it off, and I'm like, well, let's get my husband better and then we'll see if maybe I can handle it. But I was terrified because anytime someone touched my body or did anything with me, I would shut down. And so the fear of not functioning again was always there and kept me from just jumping in feet first here. I saw Dr. Hammond working with my husband, and I saw care and support in a way that I'd never seen it before. I saw him put pieces together that I never understood. He talked about your nervous system and how it controls everything, how things in your back relate to your organs, how all of those nerves that connect to your spine all connect to your digestive tract, and how if your digestive tract isn't working, it can cause your back pain. And if you have back pain and the nerves in your back aren't working, it can cause digestive issues. And I had these light bulb moments, even though at that point I still was living in a fog. I said, wow, this is what I've been missing. So I said, okay, let's talk. Let's sit down and talk. So he took me into the exam room and told me all that was going on with my spine. And for the first time ever, someone looked me in the eyes and said, you're just dealing with symptoms and you can get better. And I just didn't see how that was possible. At that point, I was so shut down and my eyes were glazed over, and I just couldn't even bear the thought of dreaming about something that I wanted to do. So he turned to my husband and he said, what's something that she's been missing? What's something she loves to do? My husband said, more than anything, she loves to hike in the mountains. And at that point, I just dissolved into a puddle of tears. And I thought, how cruel that you would dangle the thing in front of me that I love the most. Why would you do that to somebody who's lost that? I can't even walk down to the end of the street. And Dr. J looked at me with the most caring, loving eyes and said, you'll be hiking in June, just 6 months later. So I said, okay, well, let's do this then. And I was terrified, and I was worried that my health was gonna decline as he worked with me. But with some hard work and some consistency, he kept pulling me back and kept saying, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna get you through this. And he was so gentle. He started so slow with me because he knew where I was at. He was able to walk me through something that was so scary with just the utmost care and without causing me to completely lose function in my life. And I tell you what, in June, just like he said, I was hiking in the mountains. It was the most miraculous thing. I am now living with hardly any pain. I had pain in my legs for over 20 years. I can now stand and walk, and I can hike, I can work. It's the most incredible thing. My brain has cleared up. I now have a full-time job, which I would have never been able to do. I couldn't get to any place once a week, let alone 4 or 5 times a week. I couldn't even drive a couple days in a row because my body would shut down. And now I can drive to work every day, and I have a bit of a commute, and I enjoy the whole thing. I don't have the pain in my back that I used to have that it would cause me to curl over. I couldn't even stand up straight or sit up straight. Sitting in a position for 20 minutes at a time was so painful. I had to constantly be moving, and I needed to lay down several times a day. I don't have to do that anymore. When I was home, I would always wear pajamas, really soft clothes that were oversized, that was just really lightweight fabric, because the weight of my clothes would actually cause the worst body aches. And if there was anything, that had a cuff or anything like that, I would cry in pain because of the pressure on it. And now here I am, I can get dressed in pretty clothes and come to work. I wear them all day long. I can wear shoes. There's so many things that I couldn't do before that are things that we take for granted. The mascara that's running all over my face was something that I couldn't wear before because my body would shut down. And I am healing from my food allergies. It's been an absolute miracle. And I just wanted to tell you all about it because I believe that there's a miracle for everyone, that you too can get better, that if you heal your nervous system and remove those stressors, that your body can heal. Thank you, Dr. J, for all that you've done for me and for all that you've done for my family. This has been a life-changing experience for me, and I am forever grateful.